How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Bitcoin just did it. It actually jumped, it found support on a very important level. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about what's happening in the market and what I'm buying hand over fist recently, what I've been buying a lot over the last 3 or 4 days, trading days. So we'll talk about that. If you don't mind, hit subscribe so you can see future videos like this. Of course, I'm not telling you to do anything. Let's roll the disclaimer. Just a reminder, this is not financial advice. This is not legal advice. Do your own research. I'm never going to reach out to you either in the comment section or through any other means to try to get you to invest in something that I'm investing in or to send me crypto. Some links underneath the video are affiliate links. I may earn a commission, but this is at no extra cost to you. Of course, do your own due diligence. All right, now if you want to follow me on Telegram as well, you can check that out underneath the video. Oscar Ramos just got banned today. We had Levi banned a few days ago. This is happening more and more. It seems like every day there's some big creator that's getting banned off YouTube. So follow me over on Telegram too, just to be careful, because I was posting there the whole time that I was banned over the last week. And if I get banned again, it's 2 weeks. So I'll try to avoid that, but it's hard because I don't really know what caused it. No one really knows. But if you want to trade, there's a link to BidFi, or BYDFi in the link tree. It's the second link down in the link tree. You can check that out. And you might have noticed recently, I have demonetized my videos, so no ads. So if you want to, support the channel, if you want to trade, you can check out BYDFi. We're doing this up to a $10,000 giveaway. There was someone that got $10,000 actually in one of the last couple trading competitions we had, or not even competitions, but giveaways here. The traditional markets, very red today. The NASDAQ was actually down like 1.25% or 1.5% earlier. It's in extreme fear. The stock market's in extreme fear. It's 2% away from all-time highs. And you can see it's, the stock market's actually in a very similar spot to the crypto market. We're in extreme fear on crypto and greed, crypto fear and greed, and extreme fear in the stock market. But the difference is the crypto market's down significantly from its all-time high. The crypto market's down probably 20-30%. As a whole, maybe even slightly more, because Bitcoin's now down 20% from its high, but a lot of altcoins down much more than that, while the stock market's just barely down. Now, I will get to what I've been buying, but just, to recap why we're down today on crypto, not only are the traditional markets down, but long-term holders have offloaded a bunch of Bitcoin over the last 30 days. They keep on selling, and, some of them bought a long time ago, and they're just cashing out, taking some chips off the table. This whale bought 10,000 Bitcoin at $1.54. They sold it for over $1 billion today. So I don't blame them after you get a 60,000x to sell. And who knows, maybe they have other wallets too that have Bitcoin. But yeah, I guess some people are taking some profits off the table. There are liquidations too, about 646 million over the last 24 hours. Just a few minutes ago, I checked this and it was like 1.2 billion. So the liquidations from yesterday just fell off, but we've still had a decent amount over the last, even just the last 12 hours or so, because we made a move. In the US, it would have been overnight down again to now $104,000 Bitcoin. Now, we are getting to an interesting point. We just broke this $103,700 support that we had from October 13, so almost a month ago. We broke this support and we went down to the 50-week simple moving average. Looks like we found some support there. It's moving up. If we do break down below this line, I'd be watching maybe this $100,000 mark as key psychological support. We haven't seen a lot of other support in between here and $103,000 or much resistance either. But this is what we constantly see. You zoom out on Bitcoin, moves up, drops around and down, moves up, chops around and down, moves up, chops around and down. The question is, will we get another move up? I'm still bullish, to be clear. I think all roads lead to Bitcoin doing well, but I could always be wrong. So approach at your own risk. Of course, Bitcoin dominance is at an interesting point too. I'll give you some more of my thoughts on Bitcoin here in a second too, but went down to 57% this back in mid-September. Then just got rejected. You can see it got rejected by this trend line that we had been using as support for a very long time throughout the entire bear and bull market. This was the kind of the bottom support line, and we just got rejected by it. I personally think Bitcoin dominance will go up because whether we go down or go up significantly, I think alt will bleed to Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin will be the first mover if we go back into some bullish sentiment, and I think it will hold up better than altcoins if we go into a bear market. Now there is one asset that I bought a lot of. We'll talk about that in a second, but I just want to spend another second here on Bitcoin. I am still very bullish on Bitcoin. We're seeing a drawdown in a lot of stocks today, a lot of high movers, a lot of aggressive moves up recently in the stock market. Now we're just seeing a bit of a pullback, right? People are a little bit cautious after what the Fed said last week. They're a little bit cautious in general about the economy and the consumer. I still think Bitcoin is going to do very well because right now the economy is still strong. We're still growing. The Fed is still lowering rates. The Fed's injecting a lot of liquidity into the banking system, which some people are scared about, but I think that's because of the government shutdown. And I do think there's very low liquidity right now, which is causing the market to be able to fall faster. I don't know a lot of people that are buying unless we fall down like to 100,000. Of course, there will be some traders. There will be some dollar cost averagers. I don't know a lot of people, though, that are buying really aggressively on Bitcoin right now because it is up a lot recently. So it kind of takes a while for it to fall down, and then people come in and buy, then the traders start buying as well, longing, and then there's some big news that comes out, and then, if other assets continue to race up, I think this is kind of what typically happens. If you look back here too, I have an interesting post. This has happened before. This is not the first time that we've seen capital move like this. Let me see here. Okay. Everyone is asking why Bitcoin is not going up while the S&P 500 and gold break higher. We've had this same conversation back in summer of 2020, but most have forgotten. ChatGPT remembers though. So this is what ChatGPT says. In summer 2020, many wondered why Bitcoin wasn't moving up while the S&P 500 and gold hit new all-time highs. Stocks had fully recovered from the COVID crash, and gold surged past $2,000 amid record stimulus and inflation fears. Meanwhile, Bitcoin lingered around 9 to 12,000, so below its 2017 peak. Crypto Twitter and investors questioned if Bitcoin had lost momentum or missed its macro moment. Ironically, that doubt marked the final accumulation phase before Bitcoin broke out in late 2020, smashing 20K and launching the next major bull run. Doubt often comes before the breakout. Of course, you have to approach at your own risk. I think I've said that like 2 or 3 times at this point. Like, we could be wrong. We could be going into a bear market. But I look at it and I think, if you want more Bitcoin, right? If you want it to be a larger part of your portfolio, will you regret it in 5 years, buying it at $104,000 versus maybe waiting a couple weeks? I don't think so. Generally, Bitcoin goes up, and we've already seen a 20% pullback. Has it ever been a bad idea to buy Bitcoin when it's been on a 20% pullback and the fear and greed has been an extreme fear? Not really. I mean, with enough time, every purchase looks fantastic and every purchase looks like a genius buy. Now, I say that I am dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin, not a lot, right? I'm not putting all my capital in Bitcoin by any means because, I have a lot of exposure to crypto through the YouTube channel, and I already have a lot of Bitcoin and a lot of, Bitcoin ETFs and crypto just from the last, 5 years of accumulation. Now, there is one asset that I've been buying a lot of over the last week, and it's Meta. Meta is down 15% over the last week, something like that. It was at $750 at the end of October. It announced earnings. They had a one-time tax charge that caused their net income to go down significantly for the quarter, which is why, we're seeing a bit of a drop off. Otherwise, it would beat expectations significantly. And their expenses rose faster than expected, much faster than even their growing. I think it was their expenses are growing faster than their top line growth. But this is causing some concern for people. I think it's a bit irrational, or I think it's, I think the reaction negatively is much larger than it should be because they can pull back expenses if they want. But they're seeing demand. They're seeing payoff. They're seeing the upside of spending this amount of money. Just like you look at the other hyperscalers, and they're spending tens of billions of dollars every single quarter on CapEx. R&D quite high too, which is, kind of interesting that research and development is $50 billion a quarter for Meta, but obviously they're seeing it pay off. Their revenue growth is insane. I mean, they're growing revenue at 21% over last year. I think I remember it actually being 26%. That might be slightly off. Their family daily active people still going up. 60 million people in the last quarter. That's crazy. I mean, they basically penetrated half the world at this point. I think this company, it looks like it's at a very good valuation. The forward PE is 21 and it's growing revenue by 26% a year. If we look at EPS, it's growing 60% a year, something like that. So I'm buying a lot of this right now. I think this is the cheapest of the Mag 7 stocks by far, even cheaper than Google and Amazon at this point. I was buying those a lot throughout the last 6 months, and those are my largest positions, but I wouldn't mind Meta being up there because I think this should be a 30 priced earnings, at least 25 priced earnings, and they're growing so quickly. Even if their multiple doesn't expand, they're growing so quickly, they could still go up 20% over the next year just based on their earnings per share growth, or 30%. Now, you might ask, why would I buy this when I could buy more Bitcoin on a 20% drop? Well, like I said, I am trying to diversify. I do think it's important to have assets in multiple buckets so that way you can stay rational when the crypto market's falling, right? My net worth has not fallen down 20% since the peak for Bitcoin because I'm not 100% Bitcoin. I think this actually helps me rotate into Bitcoin. And I realize some people are sitting there saying, no, I get it. You're just trying to time the market. And I get it. But part of it is psychology, right? Bitcoin will probably outperform a lot of my equities. And so far it has. But I also like the stability and having some assets in another bucket that is, not quite as volatile. It helps me sleep a bit at night, even if it is math irrational. And I do have some real estate, some cash, and that kind of stuff too. I have a video coming up explaining what I'm holding exactly, what my assets look like. So be on the lookout for that. It's probably coming this weekend. If you want to see it early, you can check out my Telegram. I've already posted it because when I was gone from YouTube for a week because I got banned, I posted videos there. So check that out. If you want to start trading on BYDFi, we are at a very key point. Like, I love seeing drawdowns like this and seeing very key support levels. That's when I love to place long positions. So if you want to trade, you can check out BYDFi. There are also links to BTCC, Blowfin, Weeks, and BitUnix. They're all in my link tree. So check those out. I'll see you in the next